Welcome to the Dental Podcast. Okay, let's just unpack this. If you're listening, chances are you've been dreaming of a better smile.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe it's veneers, a full smile makeover, or even something more advanced like dental implants.
Exactly. And the moment that dream starts to feel real, this one huge question just hits you.
How do I pay for it?
Right. How do I finance cosmetic dental treatments? The upfront costs can feel like this wall that's just too high to climb.
And a lot of people just stop there. They delay procedures they really want or in some cases actually need.
That feeling of being overwhelmed is exactly what we are tackling today. Our mission is to take a deep dive into the resources out there.
And to give you a shortcut, really, a way to understand the most popular payment methods that can make cosmetic dentistry not just a vague possibility, but genuinely affordable and manageable.
It's fascinating because the world of financing for these things is a bit of a maze, isn't it?
It really is.
We've pulled out the key paths, from traditional loans to those specialized clinic plans that offer, the 0% interest deals.
Which, as we'll get into, can be your greatest tool or maybe your greatest trap.
That's the core of it. The risk isn't always the total amount. It's about understanding the fine print, the terms.
Absolutely. We're going to help you compare that fixed rate predictability with those promotional zero interest deals so you can make a really informed choice.
Before we jump into all the financing methods, let's set the stage a bit. We're drawing our context from Omni Dental and MedSpa.
Right. They're a comprehensive family practice, and their wide range of services really shows why understanding these financing options is so critical for patients.
Where are they located?
They're in Arlington Heights, Illinois. The specific address is 305 E Rand Road.
And who's leading the practice?
That would be Dr. Billis Poles, DDS. He has over a decade of experience, and, well, the practice really goes far beyond just general dentistry.
And that's the key point, right? The range of care they provide. It highlights the financial complexity we're talking about.
It does. I mean, on one hand, you have these very advanced, higher-cost procedures like all-on-4 or full-arch dental implants.
And on the other?
Classic cosmetic services. Teeth whitening, bonding, Invisalign, and they even have a full med spa with aesthetic treatments.
So you could be looking at a plan that combines restorative work with elective cosmetic procedures.
Exactly. And that's where the cost structure gets complicated, and it's why financing is so important for the communities they serve.
Which includes places like Buffalo Grove, Palatine, Schaumburg.
Yes, and Wheeling, Mount Prospect, Des Plaines, among others. Their patient-centered approach means they help coordinate these complex plans.
But at the end of the day, you, the patient, you still need to know the landscape of payment options available to you.
100%.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack the 4 key paths to funding your procedure. We'll start with the most traditional and often the fastest way to get the funds.
We're starting with Category 1, traditional credit cards and personal loans. These are, ubiquitous. They're accepted almost everywhere and give you immediate access to capital.
For smaller procedures, maybe a low interest or a rewards credit card seems like a pretty easy, flexible choice.
It can be, but the key word there is discipline. Credit cards, unless you have one of those specific promotional periods, they carry fluctuating interest rates.
Which can quickly turn a few $1,000s into a much bigger problem if you're only making minimum payments.
A long-term burden, for sure. And that's why the sources we looked at often favor the other option in this category.
The dedicated personal loan.
Exactly. A personal loan, particularly if you have a good credit score, is really attractive. It offers fixed monthly payments and, crucially, a fixed interest rate.
So there are no surprises.
None. If you borrow, say, $10,000 at 8% interest over 48 months, you know exactly what your payment is every single time. And you know exactly when that loan will be paid off.
That predictability has to be a huge relief, especially for those bigger cosmetic procedures.
It's invaluable. It provides a kind of financial security. You might pay more in total interest than a perfect 0% strategy, but you completely eliminate the risk of surprise rate hikes or those dreaded balloon payments. It's the safe, steady road.
Okay, so that's the traditional route. But here's where it gets, I think, really interesting for most people.
It does.
This is where most patients start their search. Category 2. Specialized dental financing plans.
Right, these are the big game changers. The ones you see advertised with 0% interest for an introductory period, sometimes 6 months, 12, even 18 months.
And these plans can be fantastic tools. They offer massive flexibility. But hang on. If they offer 0% interest for a whole year, why would anyone ever bother with a standard personal loan at, say, 7 or 8%?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it brings us to a very specific financial mechanism that everyone must understand.
Which is?
Deferred interest. This is the key insight we have to pull from the sources because that amazing 0% offer, it often relies on a pretty high-stakes gamble.
Deferred interest, not waived interest. That sounds like a critical distinction.
It's everything. When you take one of these specialized medical loans like through Care Credit or Lending Club, which a lot of dental offices use, the interest is often deferred. It's not waived.
So what does that actually mean in practice?
It means the interest starts building up on the original principal balance from day one. It's just not charged to you, provided you pay the entire balance in full by the end of that promotional period.
Okay, so give me a scenario. Let's say you get a $5,000 procedure with a 12-month, 0% deferred interest plan. You pay it off aggressively. On day 365, you've paid off $4,999.99. What happens?
You miss the deadline by a single penny, and at that moment, you hit a financial time machine.
Time machine.
Yes. The deferred interest that's been quietly accruing for the entire 12 months starting on day one is immediately all at once applied to your balance.
Wow. So that could be a massive, completely unexpected fee.
It can turn a manageable payment into a devastating financial shock.
So the critical difference here is, what? A standard personal loan uses simple interest.
Correct. Simple interest. It only applies interest to the remaining balance. But these promotional plans often use deferred interest, which holds the power to retroactively charge interest on the original loan amount.
That requires laser focus on that final payment deadline. You have to pay off the principal in full, no exceptions.
It's clear these specialized plans are designed for the highly disciplined patient, someone who is absolutely certain they can manage aggressive repayment within that intro period.
And for someone who needs more flexible, long-term budgeting.
For them, the fixed terms of a standard personal loan are often the safer bet, even if the interest rate looks higher at the beginning.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's move on. Category 3, utilizing dental insurance. This has to be the most confusing area for people.
Oh, absolutely. Most patients just assume their comprehensive insurance is going to cover cosmetic treatments like a smile makeover.
But the hard truth is, it probably won't.
That's usually the case. Dental insurance typically does not cover procedures that are strictly elective or cosmetic. If you're getting veneers just to improve the aesthetics of otherwise healthy teeth, insurance will see that as non-essential.
And they won't cover it.
Correct. However, the distinction lies in this concept of restorative function. This is the major exception.
Restorative function. So what does that mean?
Insurance providers make decisions based on whether a procedure is medically necessary to restore function, prevent further damage, or maintain long-term oral health.
Okay, so for example, a dental implant. It looks great, so is cosmetic, but
it's also necessary to replace a missing tooth. That prevents other teeth from shifting, and it stops bone loss in the jaw.
I see. So because the implant restores chewing function and structural integrity, it crosses that line into the restorative category.
Precisely. And that's why insurance might cover a significant portion of an implant procedure, whereas it won't even touch the cost of, say, elective teeth whitening.
So the actionable advice here is what?
Always talk to your dental office first. They are experts at coding procedures and submitting pre-treatment estimates to your insurance provider.
So you can clarify exactly what portion of the cost might be covered before you commit to financing the rest.
Never assume coverage. Always verify the restorative component of your treatment.
That makes perfect sense. The decision isn't just about finding the money. It's about strategically deploying it while minimizing your risk. So how does a listener put all this together? How do you compare these options?
It really comes down to matching the duration of your repayment need with the type of interest you can tolerate. You have to be realistic about your budget and the total cost.
The goal is always efficiency, right? Get the dream smile, but optimize your cash flow and avoid unnecessary debt.
That's the balance.
We've actually pulled 2 really concrete, practical tips for managing costs that go beyond just these big loans. Let's start with tip A, direct clinic payment plans.
Yes. Don't overlook the power of just talking directly to your dental provider. Some clinics, and this includes OmniDental, they understand the financial constraints.
So they might offer their own internal payment plans.
They often do. Plans that break down the total cost into smaller, easier monthly payments. And sometimes they're even interest-free for shorter periods.
Which allows you to bypass external lenders entirely for smaller balances.
Right, it builds trust and maintains flexibility without you having to open a whole new credit line.
Okay, and tip B is about comparing specialized lenders.
If you do need an outside loan, Compare multiple dedicated health lenders. Care Credit, Lending Club, there are others.
Because even though they offer similar products, the terms can be different.
Very different. There's specific terms for interest rates, origination fees, repayment schedules. It can all vary widely based on your credit profile. You might find a simple interest loan from one of them that's actually lower than a traditional bank's personal loan.
So the strategic choice really boils down to a fundamental trade-off.
It does. Do you choose the absolute safety and predictability of a fixed-rate personal loan?
Or do you take the highly incentivized but high-risk path of that deferred interest 0% plan?
For a patient with, say, a $10,000 implant procedure, that one decision could mean thousands of dollars in potential savings, or thousands in unexpected fees. Financial security is inseparable from health.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Financing cosmetic dentistry. It doesn't have to be overly complex. It doesn't have to be a source of anxiety.
Not at all. Viable options exist, but they do require a critical eye, especially when you're looking at those promotional 0% offers.
Whether you opt for the structured safety of a personal loan, the strategic use of credit, or the aggressive repayment that's required by a deferred interest plan, just having the knowledge of these different structures is empowering.
And we did review that practices like Omni Dental in Arlington Heights are deeply committed to ensuring their patients find flexible payment plans that fit their unique needs.
Their whole commitment is about transparency, helping you get that smile you want without financial stress.
That's right.
So if you are in the Arlington Heights area and you want to explore your cosmetic and financing options, you can reach them directly. Call 847-483-8833.
Or you can visit them at 305 E Rand Road, Arlington Heights, IL 60004.
Before we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with one final thought to mull over, based on those deferred interest mechanics we discussed.
Okay.
We know these promotional plans all emphasize paying off the principal before that 0% window closes. Knowing that many people miss this deadline, what structural mechanisms like automatic enrollment in e-statements or mandatory email reminders should you demand from a lender to ensure you never incur that retroactive interest charge?
That's a great question. You need to investigate the proactive steps you can take to safeguard your own budget against the fine print.
Absolutely essential research. Take the knowledge we've gathered here, really understand the difference between simple and deferred interest, and apply it to your financial planning immediately. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into financing your perfect smile.